Caitlin.
Hi, a little birdie told me that you had a tangent. And
Oh my
I'm
God.
freaking
So
ready.
I had to go pick up a Mac from the Apple store today. Long story, but our
Okay.
intern's Mac just died. It rebooted and everything was December 31st, 1969.
Oh no!
And all the spare Macs are in Sioux City. So I'm like, screw it. We got an intern Mac. But so I decided to forgo my leftover Chinese food and I went to Taco John's.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say Bell, and I was like,
No.
You've made a
Taco
mistake.
John's. And I know
Yes,
it's like,
okay.
okay, cause potato lays good, everything else marginal. But no,
Yeah.
so I was dead set I was going to get 2 Taco Bravos because I love like soft shell, hard shell beans and other stuff. But they had a new burrito called the Boss Burrito. And I was like, I'll just
That's
get
me.
the Boss
I'm the
burrito.
boss.
It is. It was so freaking good. Like it's got red rice in it and beans. And I had chicken, I think, in mine. They do steak also, but they had some other stuff. But whatever the sauce was inside of it, like very different from all their other sauces. I would go have another one for dinner. Like it was really good.
You've just made me want potato olays. May I tell you that Taco John's holds a special place in my heart for a couple of reasons. Tyrell worked there. My husband, at-home bartender, worked there in high school.
Okay.
And so every time we go, he still like remembers the like all of the keyboard options.
So he just goes behind there and like rings himself up. He's like, get out of my way. I know what I want.
Like, because sometimes they'll tell us like we can't do chicken soft shells in a 6-pack in a pound because that's what we get now as like a family, right? And he's like, yeah, you can. It's 3+ chicks. Like, I guess that's the like.
I love it.
so that like that's a. Yeah, I love Taco John's.
So
and then
my sister worked at Taco John's in high school.
Oh my gosh,
so I need to
should
ask
have
her if she knows the 3+ chicks hack to get your 6-pack in a pound with chicken.
Chicken soft shells. And then that was the last thing that I ate before I became a mother. Isn't that wild?
Wow.
Yep.
Morning,
like the day that Dorothy was born, I was like, this child will never come. I was 3 days past my due date and I was frickin' over it, right? And I was like, this baby is never coming out of here. And then like 5 minutes later, my water broke and I was like, oh snap, okay. And Tyra was like, well, what does this mean? And I was like, I don't know, never done this before. And he's like, do you think, because we had been talking about going to get breakfast, and he's like, do you think I still have time to go get breakfast burritos? And I was like, yeah, you're fine. And then by the time he got back, I was like, not fine. This is not fine. And
baby
so
on the way. Let's go.
I was so mad because we live so close to the hospital that I only had time to eat like 4 potato olays in the car in between like contractions and freaking out about like all the things.
Yeah, first baby.
And then they won't let you eat once you get to the hospital if you're like in active labor. And so I was like, I may never get to eat again. Yeah, it's like a whole thing. I know. I get it, but come on.
I know more about what happens during childbirth than I ought to, because I was there when my sister went into labor with my niece.
I think that everyone should know because it's like an important thing. You know, like it's science.
But it's also gross. Like the things that the ways your body betrays you when you are having a baby. It's
yeah.
But I mean, the nurses
I'm very
are great.
like pro
destigmatizing
bodies. Like everybody poops, you know.
But yeah, and that does happen when there's a baby on the way, especially if you have an epidural and you don't know what happened. My mom likes to remind me, and she just did this weekend when they were here, that I was 3.5 weeks late, and I was just like, I just feel like your doctor couldn't do math. Like he was just bad at math. And she's like, when have you been early? And I'm like, fair point. Fair point. So anyway, speaking of moments in life, we're going to...
Oh, see, that's perfect.
I know, I transitioned.
What a segue.
We're going to jump back, and Zach has prepared 5 little snippets of audio from early episodes. So these are, some of them are really, I think one of them is actually, the first one might actually be our very first episode.
Oh my God.
And so the audio quality has changed. Our equipment has completely changed because we had no idea what we were doing. We were just like, let's do a podcast.
I still don't.
I think I came in one day and said, let's do a podcast. And Zach was like, hey, that sounds like fun. I'll research some things. Mm-hmm. And you said, I like to hear my own voice. I'll be on the podcast.
That was a joke. I want to just like really. Okay.
I feel like your husband's verified that you do like.
And also, no one else was going to do it. You would have just been here talking to yourself.
No, I know. And it would have been really boring. Because I think I recently did one episode without you because you were like busy or contractors or something. I don't know.
I have no idea.
And yeah, I felt like it was one of our worst. But that's just me. And I shouldn't be hard on myself. Brene Brown would tell me to like be generous with my opinion of myself.
Yeah, that's really hard. I don't know if we have enough time to get into that.
She points that out. That's another episode. Okay, so I saw the name of this drink and I gagged, but I understand that this is one that came from your in-home bartender / husband. So you
correct.
Kick us off with it.
So a clarified milk punch. It's the idea of it is offensive. However. Having had some decent clarified milk punches, I have come around. Like I tried one in Nashville that I was like, that's spectacular. Because it like the way in which the science happens, like the science experiment happens, it gives the final recipe like a very smooth, interesting mouthfeel. Like it feels like it's fatty or creamy without having any actual like
no whole
dairy in it. Yeah, like no, it's not like a flip where you've got like the egg yolk or heavy cream or anything. It like changes the viscosity of the final, like the sum of its parts. It's like greater than the sum of its parts, right?
Okay, like and that was good until like I got to the end ingredient, and then I was like, nope.
Yeah. It's a particular recipe. I will certainly admit that. But it's really like when you get to them, they're actually quite pretty to look at. Because like you can appreciate the process. So what this recipe was actually the first one that Tyrell made at home. Okay. And
I mean, this is a really old ass drink, right? Like super old.
Yeah. So we'll go through the recipe and then we can continue kind of discussing if you're up for it. If your stomach can handle it.
I can handle it. I mean, it looks to go ahead. You do the recipe so I don't give anything away, and then I'll tell you what it looks like to me that isn't disgusting.
Yeah. So you are going to boil effectively 18 ounces of water or heat it to 208 degrees Fahrenheit. If you're using a kettle without a temperature setting, bring it to a boil, remove from the heat, and count to 20. So this does require you to do a little bit of science.
This sounds very scientific.
Right, it is. And we'll get to more science in a moment. So pour the water over 8 Earl Grey tea bags in a quart vessel and then steep those for 3 minutes before removing the bags, but do not squeeze them. I think that makes your tea bitter. And that's just like a general rule of thumb for tea. Don't squeeze.
Yeah, people want to because they're like, I'm going to get every last drop.
Yeah, like every no, it's like it's icky. Yeah. So more science, you're going to add 2.62 ounces of sugar to the tea and stir to dissolve. And then add 8 ounces of port, 4 ounces of rum, 2 ounces of allspice dram, and 2 ounces of lemon juice. Then you're going to cool that to room temperature, which is usually about 20 minutes, but that depends on your room and your temperature and, how fast you stirred.
All right, well, I was thinking that 2.62 ounces surely must convert to a very nice metric number, and it certainly does not. It's a weird, just a weird.
No, and so the recipe is from Alton Brown, and he's kind of known as the, like, science-y Food Network guy.
Yeah.
And so that's the other part of it. Okay, so then you are going to pour 8 ounces of milk, whole milk, into a pitcher, and then add the tea mixture on top. And yes, it will curdle. Like the lemon juice hits the milk, it's gonna curdle. It's weird, right? Okay. And this is the part I'm assuming that you had a problem with. And then don't shake or stir or disturb. I think the recipe originally said like don't molest it in any way.
Well, that too.
So just let that all sit on the counter for an hour.
So I'm leaving curdled milk with hot tea in it on the counter for an hour.
Yep.
Hope you don't have cats.
Well, you can cover your stuff, and also maybe not. I don't know. Dorothy sits around and watches Tyrell make this on occasion. So once your 1 hour has elapsed and you've not molested your mixture, line a fine mesh sieve with either you can. This calls for like a coffee filter or
cheesecloth, I would assume.
Yeah, Tyrell's used cheesecloth at home. And then he'll strain a couple of times. So you're going to strain your mixture.
The chunks.
Yep. So you remove the curds, because that's really all it is, right? Is like curds. It's curds of milk, like Little Miss Muffet. And transfer that into a quart jar or whatever vessel you have, and then chill.
And you can store this for up to 2 months. So here's what I think. I think that we should have a jar of this for the holiday or the summer party. Yeah. Tyrell can make it and send it with you.
Okay. So I too agree that the idea of this was sketchy to me. However, having tried it, what happens is the dairy holds on to all of the bitter and kind of stronger flavors, and it mellows the alcohol in a way that is quite pleasant. And so I'm pro milk punch. Even though,
for me it seems like it's like a milk tea, like it's tea with milk that has booze and other things in it, but there's also then the whole chemistry side, which makes sense that this is an Alton Brown. I will try it. It just seems weird. Also, people who want to do like, I'm going to do 2% milk or 1% milk.
No, it has to be whole milk.
And whole milk is 3%, people. It's not like it's 100% milk fat. Whole milk is 3% milk fat, and it is far more delicious than 2% or 1%. So good.
Yeah.
I've started doing that in my like drinks at coffee shops because they're like, is whole milk okay? And I'm like, yes, that would be great.
I'm a big fan of oat milk.
Oh yeah, I like oat milk
in
too.
My coffee drinks. But anyway.
The oat milk brown sugar shaken espresso.
At
Starbucks. I like that.
Starbucks. Yeah.
Okay, so this came around like pre-colonial times, it looks like, right?
I think so. I'm honestly not
Stuart era
sure.
England, which I don't know what the Stuart era England was. Do you?
I have no idea.
Zach? No?
Benjamin Franklin himself enjoyed a version in colonial America.
Is that enjoyed inversion? Is an injursion?
Injured. I don't know. Yeah.
And then Queen Victoria had it as well, and then it came back apparently in the early 2000s. So the early 19th century. No, wait, that's not right.
That's the early 20th century, early 21st century.
21st, right? That's right. We're behind one,
yeah.
Right? Like the 1600s or the 17th century, because the first century started with 0. Got it.
Yeah.
Or what? No, it started with 0. That's right.
I have to have that conversation in my head every time I try and say what century we're in.
So what's interesting is this one evolves. So I wonder what the original, Ben Franklin recipe or whatever was, how close it was to this. It was
probably like tea. But like highly taxed tea, number one.
No wonder they were pissed. They couldn't have their tea.
They couldn't make their milk punch.
Right.
But then I would imagine that they, rather than like granulated sugar, I would bet that they use like honey or some other
could be
sweetener.
Maybe we'll do that for the notes. We'll give Zach a research tip. Like, go look up what the original recipe was, even the Queen Victoria.
And then I won't drink that because that shit would be nasty.
It was
like
probably
they were giving themselves lead poisoning at that point. So
it was probably also what they just did with the bad milk. It was probably already starting to curdle, and they're like, "Oh, we'll just throw it in here." No, I know. Now you're. Now
it's too far.
All right, we've gone too far. It's time for a break. We'll be back with what I guess is a Clips episode. So,
oh my gosh, a clip show! Oh.
We're back. So what's funny is the other night we were watching The Golden Girls late at night because it's like you need a half-hour show you don't want to think about before bed that won't like stress you out. It's a great one. And the jokes are super dirty, which is also fun. But they sat down at the table with like a cheesecake or something, and then it started in with, "Do you remember that time?" And I was like, "Oh God, it's a Clips episode." But it was a pretty good one. Honestly, we thought about bailing out of it, but we're like, nah, we'll stick with it. We'll see what clips.
Where do you stream Golden Girls?
It's on Hulu. All of it.
Oh my gosh!
Every single episode of Golden Girls is. I think it's Hulu.
That's so wholesome. Yeah, it's Hulu.
Well, no, not really. You think it's wholesome when you're a kid, but they're like tawdry. Like those women were dirty, and the jokes, like, oh my God.
I can't wait.
We also went through the one where Rose admitted that like she and her ex had sex like every morning and every night before dinner, or every night after dinner.
Rose?
And Blanche was like, "Get out of here." But yeah, and she's like, "You don't like talking about sex," and she's like, "Well, no." Blah, 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 blah. Anyway,
I was like, I digress. It was really sweet. Yeah.
It was really sweet. And then they did the Clips episode where she was doing her birthday cake herself after he had died when she was still in Minnesota. It was her last day in Minnesota before she moved to Florida and met Blanche and Dorothy, and they all moved in together. I know. I just took this to a sad place. I'm sorry.
No, but I think it's just like beautiful, right?
Is.
Like she found. Yeah. Okay.
She found
Let's
friends.
Let's listen to our first clip, shall we?
All right. Clip number 1 from Mai Tai. What is Cocktails, Tangents, and Answers? That's episode 1.
What indeed?
We're
still trying to figure it out.
Been 10 minutes.
So I think on the tangents piece, a really good thing to point out, like we believe a great idea can come from anywhere. And sometimes a really random, stupid thing we're talking about in the office, like pays off for a client in some way or pays off for us in some way. So finding that little thing and then just like, you know, continuing to unravel it until you've got just a pile of yarn in the corner and then reshaping
like, what are you going to make with that?
What can you do with that pile of yarn? Okay. So mine is one, I had a like a very deep breath going on there, but also like I do not remember the pile of yarn metaphor like at all, which is probably more of a problem with the number of random metaphors that I use.
I think my my takeaway is that I'm like, and look at the beautiful thing we can make from that. Like every time I'm like, what can we learn from this situation?
I know. I'm just tearing things apart, and you're like, but it can be beautiful again,
right? How do we build upon this success?
Yeah, but I mean, I think the core of that is really good, though. Like, you know, a good idea can come from anywhere.
Yeah.
And that sometimes a good idea starts as a bad idea until you peel the layers off. Mm-hmm. And then you give it to Caitlin in a big pile, and she makes a scarf out of it.
And I just knit you a sweater. It's going to be black.
Well, and I think Bruce Zach here, since I haven't introduced myself, but I think with the whole tangents line, like that's definitely one of the most accurate parts of the podcast. Like we said we were going to go on tangents, and that is definitely something we do.
I assume we're getting to Guatemala in one of these clips somewhere.
In Honduras?
No? Honduras, that's what it is.
Well, that was...
We'll find out, won't we?
That was one of the things that reminded me of this like first clip was the Honduras tangent. That's probably the most memorable in my mind.
And then it took us a year and a half to return to it.
I know, like you threw it out there just randomly, like, oh, when I was in Honduras, and you're like, what? And you're like, we don't have time for that. Another episode. Mm-hmm. So I think that it was pretty good. I do notice the quality's a little bit different.
We sound like we're in a tin can.
Kind of, yeah. My voice was louder than it usually is, which is interesting. Yeah, so that's the difference between the Yeti mics and the Rode mics. The Yeti mics are great for certain things. These Rodes are like, it is Rode, right? Or is it Rode?
Rode.
It's got to be Rode. It can't be Rode.
What does the little through the O mean? It's R-O with the slashy D-E. I'm assuming it's like Swedish or something. Norse.
Probably.
Anyway. We just didn't know what we were doing. We've learned. And look at the beautiful thing that we have made from that pile of yarn in the corner.
I mean, it's been pretty good. This is, I think, Zach, didn't you say this is episode 50?
50.
Yeah, this episode that we're currently doing will be episode 50, so it's kind of
it's like
a good time to go back and look and reminisce.
It's our golden anniversary.
All right, should we do snippet number 2 that came from... Oh, I remember this one. We did the work culture one, and it ended up being such a long episode that we split it into 2.
Yep. And we have 2 clips, one from part 1 and one from part 2. So we can get into part 1.
We'll do part 1 first.
Let's do part 1. Here we go.
Junglebird part 1.
Just trusting people to do what they're supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. And like this infantilizing of employees that happens at not even necessarily like large companies, you know, when you're talking like 1,000 or more employees or whatever the like metric is, but even in organizations where the leadership isn't secure with themselves or they don't trust their team, and it just spirals into this like micromanagement and like hand holding and just like really nitpicky, terrible stuff. Like I, at a previous job, was told like I was stupid, like flat out.
Well, now I feel you're good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not good from like having to remember that again.
Yeah.
Thanks a
I
lot,
was like,
Zach. No.
I feel bad for you. Like when you brought that up, I was like, oh my God, who would call you stupid? Like,
no, I'm not stupid. I'm capable and wonderful. No.
Yeah, you're trying
I am,
your
but
best.
Like, that's the thing. So, I think like nothing about my opinion on that subject has changed. I think what has changed is my certainty that we are responsible for our own behavior. So like tolerating that from someone for long periods of time is up to you. And as hard as it might be to say like, oh, I don't think so. That's the only, we can't control other people's behavior in any way, shape, or form. And
and I think the biggest piece of that, if you're in that situation or seeing like this micromanaging or seeing that trust devolving, or, I mean, if you're being called stupid at your job, I would maybe either go to HR or find a new job because, which I think you did eventually find.
It was like 2 other people worked there. The person who called me stupid was HR. So I just was like, I think I'm done. I think I'm good. Thank you.
Something else.
Goodbye.
But if you do find yourself in that situation, and there are all kinds of things out there that can help you with this, but it's a boundaries thing. Mm-hmm. Like that should be unacceptable in the culture. That should not be allowed or tolerated. And personally, it shouldn't be allowed or tolerated.
Right.
But it's hard. I mean, especially if you're new somewhere or you're young, like telling somebody, you know, I don't appreciate that.
You can't talk
that.
to me
it's
that
not
way.
Appropriate. Especially if that person has no kind of empathy whatsoever and no understanding of their own feelings. That was like the red flags part of that is where we started, and it became
how not to be an asshole. Yeah.
Right. I mean, we were really tinny. I listened more in that episode because I didn't want to drive, you know, the whole thing. I noticed in that clip in particular, I don't think I really spoke.
Well, and honestly, I think the reason that episode was one of our more popular episodes is because it really resonates with people that have experienced bad work culture. And I mean, like for me personally, like editing and producing the podcast, like that's one of my favorite 2 episodes just because it talks about a lot of good like culture stuff. And I don't know. I just find that stuff really interesting. And
why is that making me like emotional?
Well, when I first listened to that, when I first listened to that was like 2 years ago, right? So I was only maybe
you were just
over a year in.
little baby Zach. Oh my gosh.
And then this weekend it's going to be 3 years. So listening back, to
yeah,
that
that's
was
right. I
cool.
saw your anniversary is coming up in June. I did see that on
June
the calendar.
1st. Yeah.
Yours, and then I think Jesse's is coming
8
up as
years.
well. Yeah,
Wow.
I know. And
Mine is
Caitlin has
5.
a big 5 coming up.
Yeah.
All the big numbers has to be a good thing, right?
Right?
She is dropping big hints on her 5-year gift. Like
Because
not even
I
hints,
know-
just this is what I
was
would
like, this is what I'll take. I would like yeah. Anyway. But
I was going to get you $250 worth of gin.
Perfect. I'll buy myself a 5-year anniversary gift. That's a hotel room and a spa treatment.
And you'll just take our gin with you.
Yes. Just like imagine me pushing a cart of like 3 cases of gin into a hotel. Anyway.
Well, and that's a good segue too. Is like because I don't remember if you guys remember, but part 1 is talking about red flags in work culture, and then part 2 is more focused on the positives of work culture. So that's a great segue into the next clip.
Well,
Yeah, we had to pull it out.
I want to just, because this is like such a great question that you have in our notes for us, is like, what are the practical tricks to navigating like hard culture? And the first one is like quit. I like don't stay. Yeah, like don't stay somewhere where somebody's treating you that way. But first, I would say, like, you are responsible for holding people to an acceptable standard for you, and so like exhaust your situation to say like, oh no, Jimmy, you can't talk to me like that. And then if you have an HR person, go there. But ultimately,
yeah, I think that not running away from that difficult conversation, you may feel really awkward about it.
It's so hard. It's so hard.
But I mean, I'm listening to Brene Brown right now on an audiobook, and she said that really horrible discomfort is only 8 seconds.
Yeah.
And then it becomes mild discomfort, and then eventually it goes away because they scientifically timed it.
Yeah.
And in an uncomfortable conversation, your really negative emotions are about 8 seconds. It's like riding a bull, which is probably harder than having a difficult conversation.
And I'm a real advocate for continuous self-improvement, and like I will talk to my babies here, like will come to me and say, hey, the client said this thing and I want to understand, or like, hey, I'm wondering about this piece of feedback that I've gotten, and like, what do I do with this? I'm like, well, what what do you want to do with it, and how does it sit with you, and like, do you want me to fix it for you, or do you want me to like tell you what I would do? And like that, I don't take that lightly either. Like the fact that younger employees will come to me and ask for input, like that's really such a gift for them to give to me. But I deeply hope that everyone has somebody that's willing to shepherd them, and like that's like you have been that for me, just in terms of like, no, I mean, it might be hard and horrible to hear what someone is thinking, but also like it has to be an open dialogue, and like working here has like cured a lot of my angst about work.
Oh wow, well that's good. That's
it's
really
taken
good to hear.
5 years.
I know. It's hard. Well, I mean, if you experiencing something bad takes a whole lot longer to get out of than like experiencing a bad boss takes way more recovery than how fast you lose the benefits of a good boss. Like you lose the benefits of a good boss so fast, but that bad boss, just like you're scarred. Like it really does scar you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get done with the red flags and let's move on to what makes a good work culture. Because I loved this episode too. We kept the same cocktail because, again, it was technically one long giant recording. And Zach was like, nobody's going to listen to this. We got to split it into 2 episodes. So we did. But we didn't have time to make a new cocktail. He just edited and it was all good.
Also, jungle birds are delicious. So, it worked out.
to kind of pull this back to like our overarching point, what is so interesting to me is that part of the reason personally I wanted to be in office is because I enjoy the people that I work with every day. And so I think more so than this, like snacks in the break room and like beer in the fridge, like that's not culture. That's that's a benefit.
I mean, to be clear, there are snacks in the break room and there is beer in the fridge. That does happen.
Yes. There's probably also some like weird mixed drinks in the fridge too. But I think like to define culture as a perk as opposed to like having a safe and secure working relationship with the people that you interact with either internally or externally, but that like freedom to be people first instead of the idea that like you have to leave part of yourself at home.
Man.
Deep. That is deep.
We've come a long way from the audio quality too.
Oh my gosh! Right.
Okay, the audio quality was terrible. That's really tin canny. Yeah. But our thoughts were so good.
Do you know what I have changed my mind on this a little bit?
Oh,
that like
perks our culture?
No. That for some people, and I'm not necessarily those people, but I can understand and appreciate this a little bit more. That like work is work, and you're not your family. You're not a family with work. And I don't know that I ever like said that or mentioned that in that episode, but I do appreciate that not everybody has the same level of connectedness.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would have pushed back if you did mention it, because I do agree that like work is not family.
No.
It's not even your friend circle necessarily. They can be a part of your friend circle. And when you move to a new city, a lot of times work becomes your initial friends. But there is a piece of that is work. You're there to do a job. You're there to get paid. You're not there to kumbaya with everybody.
Well, and like the idea, if you tie your identity, your family identity to work, and then you no longer work there, like that can be really scary. And
it gets really hard. Yeah. I think the best thing about this for me is something that I've always said, and I've said forever since I was at Ogilvy. Your logo is not your brand. Your perks are not your culture.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the equivalent of that. They're great and you have to have them, but some of those are just table stakes. But culture goes so much deeper than that.
Right. And it goes back to what we were talking about too, is that like your culture can't be assholes. Like
I mean,
like the personalities. I mean, good. Yeah, that's true. Somebody might want that. It's not me, but like the idea that you show up and you assume that everyone is doing their best, and we are all trying to row the boat in the same direction, and how do we accomplish that goal while also being decent people to each other? Like that's culture.
Yep. Yeah, the thing that got me about this episode, we talked about when like post-COVID we were looking for a new building, and I'm like, hey, we could just go 100% remote and everybody could have like, I don't know, a $200 a month stipend for work, internet, and cell phone and whatever. And that was not met well from our office in Sioux City, because you guys were like, no, like, one, we do like to leave the house, especially post-COVID. Two, we like getting together with each other, and we like the things that happen during the day when we're together.
Yeah.
And for some people, it's just that. It's during the day, and then they go off to their own lives. And for others, I know some of you are friends outside of work, and that's fine, too.
Our kids are friends at this point.
Well, there's that.
It's and less about us. It's like, do you want to set your kids loose in the same place as my kid being loose, and then we can just, like, let them watch each other? Cool.
Well, and also, could you get one set of grandparents to come watch all of the kids while you go out and do something else? Yeah, and I think that can happen in a good culture. Like, I've had places where my friend group and my work group, like, overlapped a little bit, but it was never one and the same. Like, it was never my totality of my identity was never at work, and I don't think it should be. But you spend a lot of time there, and you want it to be good and feel good, and you want to be with people who like treat you nice and in an environment that you feel comfortable in. Yeah, it reminds me of that interview. I don't remember if I told this story in that one or not. I think I've told it before, but where I like noped in the middle of the interview. We were like 10 minutes into a 30-minute interview, and they had 2 more scheduled after that. And I was just like, look, I'm just going to save you the time. I am already feeling that this is not a good fit for me. And they're like, well, no, but your experience in the job. I'm like, no, not the job, but like the vibe I'm getting from your culture.
You seem
and your
not
questions and just what I saw coming, like walking down the hall. Like I just got this feeling that everybody was on edge and ready to stab each other at any time. And it was a combative culture.
Fun.
And oh my God, he got so mad.
Really?
He's like, we've got all this lined up, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, everybody likes to get time back. Like, you cancel my meetings today. I'm like, woohoo, canceled meeting.
Right? See ya.
I will do some work.
And also, your reaction is only reaffirming.
Correct. Like the
what
negative
I knew to be true.
reaction. Because I would be more like, oh, hey, like, I get it. Like, if you want to be in a bigger place or a much tighter ship, like, we're a pretty loose culture. I respect that you call that out and don't waste our time, and I can go do other stuff. And I think that's important. Like, I think the number one thing about, like, if you're interviewing and you're getting this negative feeling and you have no idea how to place it, but it just feels wrong, do not work there, because it will not feel different when you walk in as an employee on the first day. It will feel exactly like that. So trust your gut, people. All right, so very exciting. So that was Jungle Bird Part 2, and you're right. The Jungle Bird was one of our COVID cocktails, along with the next one coming up, which is
you
taught me the Jungle
aviation,
Bird actually.
Because
I remember I asked you, I'm like, what do we do? Like, we got some pineapple juice that we found, like cans, and they're not expired. What do I do? And you were like, oh, Jungle Bird. And I looked, and we had everything, and I was like, all right, we'll do a Jungle Bird.
We'll figure it out. Yeah. Yep.
All right, so the next one, the aviation. Yeah. I love a good aviation. Oh my God, the color is beautiful.
It is pretty.
Or maybe I'll do an aviation tonight. Maybe when I'm done. We're ordering Grubhub because they sent us a 35% off. Whatever.
It's basically free.
Right. Exactly. We're saving money. But it expires today, and so I was like, Brian was like, hey, we could make those brats, and I'm like, we could do brats tomorrow. We need to do the Grubhub tonight because that coupon expires. So.
You're such a grandmother. I love it.
So I may have my aviation tonight.
I love this for you.
Well,
I think I'm going to go to Taco John's.
I will tell you the Boss Burrito. I don't remember what all was in it. Oh my God, I loved it so much. All right, let's move on to clip 4 before we get too far and too hungry.
We're already gone.
End of the day. I know. Clip 4.
So for original social content, I definitely go really hard into the research phase of that whole ideation process, and definitely a lot and more into the collaboration phase. Yeah. Because when I'm creating our own content, a lot of the times it's just finding like helpful tips that will help our audience and make us, project us as an industry expert. Yeah. Because really that's what we are. Yeah. And we need to project that on our social.
Yeah. As far as like reshare, like what are your favorite, like 2 favorite sites to find like reshareable or like industry specific articles?
What are they, Zach? What are the favorites?
I left that part in because it's kind of crazy to see how far our content has come since then. Yeah. Because now everything we create is original. So we don't really share any other articles like on our socials or anything like that anymore. So
because we're so smart and talented and capable.
And it's not bad to share other people's stuff. It shows that you're tied into the industry. We probably should share a little bit more of other people's stuff. It would probably ease up a few things. But I think that we've got it. I mean, we have an aggressive content plan and engine going now. So one, Zach is still horning himself in as a guest on episodes every once in a while, as he did today.
He just
like if it's a clips episode where he gets to be one of the hosts. No, I'm kidding, Zach. It's always great to have you like on mic as well, instead of just, because otherwise you're just sitting there like with your big green headphones just like nodding at us, and you're really good with your nods, so we know like it's affirming.
I think my favorite thing about having Zach is that his unbridled enthusiasm. Like if I'm always optimistic Zach is always enthusiastic. Like, it's just like, yeah, I think that's a great idea. Let's do it. And like, no question. And then is like, oh, that's interesting. It made me think of these 5 other things.
So I'm curious,
That's how I
Zach,
love
for
to work,
you,
honestly.
since you're here. Back when that was recorded early on, did you feel like you were just struggling to like grab content from wherever you could just to get something out there?
I think looking back, I had a good basis for like creating content effectively and like regularly. But what really ended up tying it all together was, like you said, the new content plan we have. It's more streamlined, it's more focused, it has clear goals, it has research to back it up. So I had a lot of the good, I had a lot of the right ideas for the things that we were like doing with our content.
Yeah.
But working here and gaining experience working for clients and kind of just learning more about everything like marketing really helped me tie everything together in the end. So
yeah, and I mean, having a structure that can tie a content plan to an annual plan, to an ad plan, to an organic plan, like the content's really the center of all of that. And so, yeah, I do like the more structured content, Zach. It's a lot easier to follow and to understand where we're going. I do think, to your point, we create a lot of our own content. Almost everything we put out is our original. And so you've really got to, work with the team to get that done. Because having a list of things we need to do is great, but if we can't execute them, then we just have a list of things to do.
I think,
and it's not the easiest thing, but getting people excited about what we're doing and giving them things that they are passionate and know a lot about is an easy way to start getting people to actually engage and put stuff out there.
Yeah. I think it's worth noting too, like, in addition to our audio quality being better, like, that was a year and a half ago, Zach. And like, what have you learned and come away with in that year and a half? And like the trajectory of your growth in that time is so like vertical, right? It's like you've gotten to this point where you're like learning. And then now you're kind of like at this comfort level where you're like, oh, I think I'm starting to like understand and know. And now like, how do we level up again? And I think like implementing some of the things that we've talked about just for clients, like I'm so optimistic about how that plays out, and like watching you and Megan and Riley kind of coalesce and like get to this point where you're working really well together, and then like leveling yourselves up again is it's like my little babies are growing up.
Yeah, it's definitely, honestly, to your point, like I've definitely like gotten a lot more comfortable in a lot of things I'm doing, but I'm also learning a lot of new things I need to improve on to continue to like push things out effectively. It's been an interesting challenge, but like I thrive off of collaboration a lot. So doing like having this kind of discussion and like talking more about how we can improve things is really energizing to me. Yeah. So yeah, like I'm just even if there's like a little bit of struggle, I know like every like little bit of struggle and like frustration I might run into is like a good learning point and something to like you said, push my trajectory up.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to note here, like especially as you're doing something new or trying to push into new areas, having that like uphill is normal, and it should be like hard and take some effort, because when was the last time something that was fast and easy was rewarded?
Was good.
Yeah, or even good.
You can pick 3, folks. You can pick 3.
No, it's pick 2. Fast, easy, good.
Yep. You can
fast,
pick
cheap,
2.
Sorry. Fast, cheap, good. Yes.
Whatever.
2.
The metaphor's gone.
It's lost. But I think that, to your point, Caitlin, like it is okay 100% to have that learning like put you on more of a plateau. Yeah. And you've got a little bit of a comfort zone. You don't have to grow 24/7. Like, no, you're not the Monstera in the corner. Like you can pause.
She's really taken off though.
I know she is. She's huge. And then when you're kind of feeling like you've really got it, that's the time to challenge yourself and like ramp it up again.
And I think like to go back to like good work culture and like positive working conditions is like some people are okay to hang out and be like, no, I'm good at this. I want to just be good at this. And that's okay. Like I've watched other people become over promoted or they get put into a supervisory role and they're not successful at that because their skill set is not managing people or is not, you know, supervising in a way that they've been like foisted in. And I think like to your point as well, like it is okay to stop and be like, I'm good at this. And that's like something I've learned just in the last couple of years to be like, oh, I think I know what I'm doing. And like becoming comfortable in that is
well, and I think about
a gift to yourself too.
Some of the executive admins I've had at other companies, and that is what they wanted to do. They want to be useful and helpful. And some people like look down on it, but it's like, no, like I would be lost without these people. I would have literally been stranded in New York and not made it to Barcelona if it weren't for my admin that I had at the time and being able to call him and leave him, just give him like 3 sentences and be like, they're closing the door. I've got to go, but I'm on a different flight. And you know, I need to get to the other airport. I had to go from Newark to JFK in like less than an hour.
Yeah.
And he found a car service who would do it and broke some laws and got me there. And it was all good.
Godspeed to whomever that was, wherever he might be.
Mo.
Mo,
and then
you
he
angel.
also, he's an artist now, and he was an artist then. And now I got one of his paintings and now I can't afford them because he's kind of got his group that loves his paintings, but it's the one above our fireplace. If you remember that, the yellow splotchy one. It's like very
I can't find it
modern
in my brain.
art. That's okay. But yeah, like you can be what we just call them individual contributors. You don't have to supervise anybody. You're really great at your job. You're going to get raises. You're going to get bonuses. You're not going to be on the fast track to CEO, but that's not
But
what
some
you
people
want.
don't want that. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. All
Should
right.
we get to Should we get to the last word?
The last word. I see what you did there, Zach.
We'll see. We'll see.
All right.
Ugly Legion.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, yes. Oh, I've used that, like, since you and I had that conversation about, like, Legion doesn't have to be ugly.
Yeah.
I've used that in so many, like, pitches that we've done and just talking to so many people. And everybody gets it. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, direct mail is always ugly and email is always ugly.
But it's because it's the thing where it's like everything is important, where they're like just like trying to throw as much, instead of having like a well-defined message and a call to action that's like very succinct. It's like, well, let's just shotgun method and see what sticks. You know, it's like, like
how big do I have to make this button to make people click on it?
Yeah.
Smaller.
Yeah.
Smaller.
People know how to run the internet now.
Yeah,
like
button doesn't need to be full width and 6 inches tall.
How many
All
times?
correct and true.
How many times am I going to have the, like, when everything is important, nothing is important conversation? It's just like, it keeps happening. It keeps coming back around. And I think, but that's like a salient thing that people can understand. And it's like, okay, you got to pick. It can't all be the best.
Yeah, you hope that people could understand that. But like, it's really hard. Like when you tell people things like, oh, your landing page should have basically 3 things you want people to do, but one of them is the biggest and they all relate to each other. And the number 2 and number 3 are only if they absolutely won't do your number 1, which is usually fill out a form. But like our landing pages have like schedule a meeting, like, cause I'll take a meeting instead of a form. Sure. That's great. Yeah. And then you can follow us on social, which makes Zach happy. He gets new numbers, but it doesn't do a lot for us, except maybe we can stay in front of you with all that content we work so hard to put out.
And you can see how fun and funny we are. I think that's where we really shine on social. This is a tangent, but you know,
kind of. I would agree. When it's funny, when I was teaching this last semester, I got banner ads from all the students, and there was no call to action whatsoever on any banner ad. They were basically like just like art.
Like awareness or like informative? I mean, like what was
I guess, but it's like, but I'm like, you want them to do something. They're like, like we want them to go and sign up for a course or like to request more information.
Did you tell them that?
Yeah, I'm like, you need to make it really clear what you want them to do. So put a fake button on there with some words on it that tell them like, learn more, sign up now. Like, and they were like, oh. I was just like, oh my God. But yeah, it's
educating the masses.
Well, and I think learning that as a student, great. When you're a seasoned marketer and you're making those same mistakes, and I have seen it, it's like, come on.
Yeah. Well, and I think like, sometimes you just get in your own way too. We have that sometimes with clients where they're like, oh no, one person told me that this was a good idea. And I have spent the last like 2 weeks being like, that's not a good idea.
Well, with anything, you have to be flexible. Like if you get hyper focused on one thing and you're like 100% sure it's going to work, you're setting yourself up for major disappointment.
Right?
Yeah, we need this 3-minute about us autoplay video with audio in our header. And it's like, no, you don't. You know who that was.
Nobody is watching that.
Correct.
I think the other takeaway from this is that Jesse and Megan are probably two of my favorite artists. And like they're good at making lead gen cute. And
they're not as temperamental as a lot of artists can be.
Correct.
They have their moments. There are moments where you get the
okay.
But it's like, okay, I've clearly taken this too far and frustrated you. We'll come back. We'll come back around tomorrow. But no, yeah. And I think that's the thing. Like everything is well branded.
Yes.
You have a clear message and a clear request, a clear call to action. Like that's going to be good lead gen.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a giant postcard. You don't have to list your entire product offering on it. You just have to grab attention and tell them what to do. And if you've targeted it right, they'll do it.
And optimized, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All of
right,
which we can help with.
We can. We're really not salesy in these, are we? We could be, but it's kind of gross.
It's not really my bag either.
No, yeah. So I think we did it. We got the Mai Tai, we got the double shot of Jungle Bird, the aviation, and the last word, and that's 5.
Cheers. If you'd like to, see more of our weird content, you can find us at Antidote_71. And if you have a question that you'd like to send our way, you can head to ctapodcast.live to send us a message. And I will just continue pleading with people to please leave us a voice message on our hotline, 402-718-9971. Your question or comment will make it into a future episode.
Yeah, we've had like 32 hang-ups. Like, so I'm just assuming those are people who are just so scared to talk to us and not spammers. We're all spammers.
Friendly and kind, and I would love to hear from you. I might even call you back.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that. That would be wild. Yikes. All right, so we will have another episode in a couple of weeks as well. Stay tuned and watch our socials to figure out what that is.
We don't even know.
I do not have the content plan in front of me, so I'm not sure what that one is.
It's going to be a surprise.
But there will be a cocktail. There will be some sort of marketing question or commentary. And there will certainly be a lot of tangents.
That's correct. But in that order, we're the cat podcast.
Oh, I mean, that would make Riley happy. All right, so there'll be cocktails, there'll be a ton of tangents, and then we'll get to marketing answers for you as well. So
we can't wait.